Hey everybody, John the Other here, obviously. Now, if you haven't seen Diana's video called The Collusion to Destroy Jian Ghomeshi, stop watching this and go watch that. I'll put a link to it in the low bar. If you have watched it, or if you've just come back from watching it, I mean, you could pause this. I have a question, and it's unfortunately a question for the minority of the people watching this channel. My audience is about 95% male. I haven't looked recently, but it's typically 95% male, 93% or something like that, with 7 to 5% of the people watching being female. Now, a fraction of that female audience is supportive. The other part is, oppositional watchers, people who watch because they hate me or disagree or whatever. So, my question is for the female part of the audience, particularly those who are there in support of what's being said on this channel from one video to the next. And I see a few of you in the comments thread, reiterating things I've said or elaborating or asking interesting questions. I have an interesting question for you, but I have to preface it with a reference to Diana's video, which I talked about just a second ago, and if you haven't watched it, again, watch that video before continuing here. Jian Ghomeshi is a Canadian broadcaster, and he's a bit of a celebrity, one of the biggest stars on the CBC, or at least he was, before he was thrown unceremoniously under the bus and had his life basically turned upside down by a series of accusations. But this didn't happen through the courts. It didn't happen through the police until months of speculation and rumor mongering and media discussion, media informing what everybody is supposed to think about Jian Ghomeshi. And that media stuff came before any legal process, before he was charged with any crime. Certainly long before the conclusion of any court case, which is, as I record this, ongoing. The media publication about Ghomeshi reveals a lot of very interesting stuff, particularly about his accusers, in that there is a documented collusion amongst his accusers, written about by them, bragging that they talked to each other for 7 to 8 months prior to the filing of any formal charge, but prior to even the public discussion of the accusations against him. Now, whether you think Ghomeshi is guilty or innocent is actually beside the point. It's not the point of this right now. This video is about that network, about the female network, the behind-the-scenes, backroom, whisper campaigns, the collusion. And I'm calling it a collusion because that's a legal term. We could say conspiracy if you want to get tinfoil hat about it. You could say collaboration. That's sort of an emotionally neutral term. But this is, in my view, a collusion of people who have repeatedly amongst themselves worked out all their stories prior to bringing any of this into the public through media, which they did, and also prior to filing of any criminal charge. So if you are in that small percentage of my audience that's female, and even smaller yet that's in agreement with any point that I make here, this Ghomeshi case, among many other things that it does that are very important in terms of revealing information to the public, reveals that female network. And I don't mean any technical platform like Facebook or Twitter or anything like that. I mean the female social network, the whisper campaigns, the rumor mongering, the behind the scenes, the back room whisper campaigns. That female network does not have any significant corollary male network in our society. There isn't a behind the scenes male rumor campaign, social media, social network, the way there is a female one. Certainly there are men who know each other, or men who, for whatever reasons, work together and know each other, but there is not that social phenomenon of that female network that we have seen discussed in the Ghomeshi case, where these people all colluded with one another prior to publishing accusations against him in media, and also prior to moving this into the criminal courts. I mean, they conspired and tried and convicted him in media prior to filing any criminal charge. They destroyed him first, then they filed charges. But the existence of that female network is something that we can't ignore. It's there. It's not a speculation. This is not a tinfoil hat. This is the people participating in it, talking about it themselves in their own blog posts, articles, publications, networks, and so on. And we see this conspiracy to destroy somebody. It's really what it is. And again, this is irregardless of whether we find that he is, at the end of this trial, innocent of the charges against him or guilty. That network exists. The collusion exists. So if you are a woman watching this channel and watching other MGTOW male type channels, and you're supportive of what's being said, the question to you is, what possible reason can there ever be for a man to trust any of you? Is there any reason at all? I don't know the answer to that. I think it's no.